And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. It is 7 a.m. in the morning in Tbilisi, Georgia, and I want to talk to you guys today about trust and about commitment. Commitment is like if you want to achieve the greatest things in your eternities, right? Because we know that this life is not just it, okay? We know that there's something on the other side. We just don't really know what. We don't know what's going to happen. But what we do know are the certain principles that are put in place that are obvious by simply looking at nature, by simply observing life. And the things that are obvious is that we were designed to become men of truth, right? So God is truth, and he wants us to become men of truth. And that means that we need to have integrity. That has to do with trust, right? If you have integrity and you show that integrity, meaning when you say something, you do it. When you promise something, you keep that promise. Whenever you have an agreement with someone, you keep that agreement. Why? Because you are a man of truth. You're a man of integrity. People can know that if you say something, if you agree with them on something, you will follow through. Those are the best people to collaborate with in life. Those are the friends that you want to have, right? There's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Jingle Bells. And one quote in that movie is when his son tells him, "You want to keep your promises if you want to keep your friends." This is how the truth works. If you want to become a man of truth, you've got to learn to keep promises. And that includes commitment. If you're not committed, you will always give up. You will always quit. And the Think and Grow Rich book Napoleon Hill wrote, he had an amazing quote in there, and he says that this is something you should have on your wall at all times that you can watch continuously, and it is, "Quitters never win and winners never quit." If you want to achieve the long-term goal, you've got to make a decision that you'll never ever quit, that you'll never ever give up. That has to do with commitment. When you said you were going to do something, you do it. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it is, no matter what. Unless, okay, there are some unless, but that's basically, they say that the goal should be in concrete, meaning like there's a specific goal, you've got a number, you like, let's say for example, you want to become a millionaire or you want to become a billionaire. It doesn't matter. Like the goal is fixed that you're going to achieve. However, the strategy, that one can be shifted. That one is like sand. Okay, so the goal is concrete, but the strategy is like sand, which means that it can shift, it can differ, but the goal stays the same. So in other words, the commitment to the strategy is more important than the strategy. The commitment to the strategy is more important than the strategy. Why? Because you've got a goal. And in order for you to achieve this goal, you've got to be committed to a path for a certain amount of time to see if that path works in terms of achieving your long-term goal. Right? So if my goal is to become a millionaire and I start a business, and I continuously work on that business and I work hardcore on that business, meaning I actually put in the work and I actually am dedicated and committed to it and put in the 8 to 10 to 12-hour days every single day over a long period of time, right? If after 5 years, you should have begun to see some results, right? And if you haven't seen some results, you should be on the brink of seeing results. If you're not seeing the results, at least you were committed to the strategy long enough to figure out that that strategy did not work. Who cares if it took 5 years? The most important thing is that you put in the work, finding out the methods that did not work in order to find out the ones that do work. Does that make sense? Just like Thomas Edison wanted to find the light bulb, right? Or to figure out the light bulb. You know, people said like, "Oh, you failed 10,000 times." No. Like that's why I succeeded. It was because I failed that many times. I just figured out 10,000 ways that didn't work. That's basically the quote, I believe it is. But you understand that the fact is, if there's something that's lacking more than anything else among society today, among humanity, and especially among men today, is a lack of commitment, a lack of sticking to something long enough to figure out if it works or not. And once it doesn't work, fine, then you move on to a next strategy, but you're still not giving up on the goal. Giving up is death. Giving up is femininity. It's all about putting all of your eggs in one basket and then watch the basket. Right? What does that mean? A lot of people are saying, "Oh, you should diversify. Don't commit yourself too much." That's the life of mediocrity. Okay, there's you have Ray Dalio and stuff like that talking about diversification is the best strategy, and he's a billionaire, right? Maybe you should listen to him instead. But I'm saying that there are certain things that if you know something to be true, you focus all of your efforts and dedication on making that a reality, right? You create it first theoretically in your brain, and then you make a plan of action, and then you take the action to make that plan and that creation in your brain a reality. That's how all creation works. But if you create an idea and a theory in your head, and then you make a plan for it, but then you remain in the planning stage and never take any action towards it, then you never will figure it out. You'll never actually get the exponential growth phase. And that's what I want to share with you guys now, is about consistency. It's consistency that creates the exponential growth curve. In the beginning, remember, it gets worse before it gets better, right? If you're going to become a billionaire, then it's definitely going to get worse before it gets better. How many years did Amazon lose money? Again and again and again, and people are like, this business is bleeding money continuously, and that's why people thought that Amazon was going to go bankrupt like every year. And then they made it, and now they're like the biggest. Do you think that that Jeff Bezos was diversifying? He wasn't diversifying. He was fully focused on establishing Amazon. That's it. Once Amazon was up and running and it was passive, right? The Amazon system was rolling and he had, thousands upon employees. Then he began to adopt other businesses and buy up other businesses and creating the conglomerate it is today. And if you think about Ray Dalio one more time, because that's like the one guy who says that diversification is amazing and you should diversify. Does he diversify? Not at all. He focuses like with lightning focus on building his hedge fund. That's it. He doesn't build anything else. And he didn't build anything else. He focused on building his hedge fund. But he's telling everyone else to diversify because then they can join him, right? And then you've got Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. Did he diversify? No, he didn't. He focused. He put all of his eggs in one basket and he was going to make this investment company. Do you see the picture? If you want to become one of the greatest, you have to make a choice and a decision and a commitment that you are going to focus all of your eggs in one basket. That doesn't mean that you should quit your job today or tomorrow to start your business. That's a ridiculous thought, because if you do that, then you're never going to be able to start your business properly. And the reason is because you're not disciplined enough to do the steps that are necessary, because the moment you get rejected in your business, you're going to give up and you're going to go back to that full-time job because you need to eat and you need a place to live. Right? That's what we're talking about here is understanding what it takes in order for you to create consistency. And the best way to create consistency is to keep your full-time freaking job and then to build your business on the side and build up your capacity to build or to work 10 to 12 hours every single freaking day and getting all of the other distractions in your life to disappear. If something is distracting you from building your business, that's the biggest hindrance for you making those billions of dollars. The biggest distraction in your life right now, and it will forever be a distraction because it's one of the things that creates the most, that creates the most joy and happiness in life, and that's women, right? But that's one of the biggest aspects I talk about on this channel. In order for you to achieve masculinity, you have to go, you have to step aside from the romantic things of life for a while, right? You stay away from the porn, you stay away from the, from the unnecessary PMO that you've been doing for years, and then you live voluntary celibacy for a time in order for you to build consistency in your life and exponential growth. If you get women into your life right now, you'll have the up and down inconsistency that is not conducive for building a long-term full-time business. A commitment to sticking with something and then to consistently do the work every single day over a long period of time in order for you to see the exponential growth of momentum. Momentum is your friend. And if you've got a girlfriend, or if you've got if you're being held back by the immediate gratification pleasures of life, it's always going to pull you back because there's going to be an emergency because you're not present. Right? It's like the one thing in life where you can't really replace yourself properly, right? And you don't want to replace yourself because that would be a very non-masculine thing to do. You want to make sure that you are the most important thing in that woman's life. And that's why creating responsible polygyny in Three Girls in Love, eventually, once you've created the exponential growth curve in your financials, that is the time when you begin to explore Three Girls in Love and understanding that, oh, okay, so women actually need women a lot more than they need a man. Women need to spend 80% of their time or 95% of their time with other women because they want a man who's mysterious. They want a man that they don't really know what he's thinking. They want a man that's like, oh, he's here. It's exciting. They don't want to be with a man 24/7. It's destructive for them. And you might have seen that if you've had a girlfriend during this COVID-19, or others who have had girlfriends during COVID-19. Like, men and women were not designed to be in the same apartment for long periods of time. It's not, doesn't work like that. You basically, it's like you becoming a woman when you do that. So, but my point is, you see the picture. You create exponential growth curve in your financials first, and then you understand Three Girls in Love. And guess what? Women spending time with women is you replacing yourself. Not 20, not 100% of the time, but 80 to 95% of the time, so that I don't have to listen to all of their garbage continuously, right? Because women talk about the small things that don't matter to us. I've got more important things to do. And she doesn't, right? But she does because she's taking care of the kids and she's taking care of your future and the future of civilization. So what she does is probably even more important than you will ever do, right? But all the other time of simply enjoying life and relaxing and blah, 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 women were designed to be with women. And that's why responsible polygyny is the only answer long term. However, voluntary celibacy, because we do not sleep with anyone who we're not committed to for life. And if you are already in a committed relationship that you want to have, like that you're married, okay, you stick with that relationship forever. Why? Because you're masculine, because you're committed. Like when I see a man who's divorced, I'm like, I know it's his fault no matter what. Okay? And I can see what's going on, and like he caused it, obviously. And it's a lack of trust. Like, why did you lose her? And why did you leave her? And like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, commitment, bro, come on. Like, right? And so it's kind of like the most expensive decision you will make in your entire life is which woman you take upon yourself in your life. And the moment you have sex with the woman, you you risk you risk her getting pregnant. Okay, and it's like we're talking about up to 5% probability that she could get it, unless she has some sort of, contraception that's beyond what you're capable of knowing, right? Who knows if she does, though, right? She might say she does, but how do you know? And suddenly she's pregnant. And then you're like, next 20 years you basically have to fork out money for the, forever, and you see the kid every other weekend. No, like voluntary celibacy, get away from the romantic aspect so that you can build your exponential growth curve in the long run. And then, okay, so commitment to the strategy is more important than the strategy. So let's talk about the three different aspects now. We've got your financials. The best way to become consistent in business is to have someone else, an accountability partner, someone who is building your business with you. But you've got to be wise about that selection. And that's why I recommend, obviously, that you hire a coach, hint, hint, and that helps you to be accountable to your goals and helps you to be accountable on a daily basis, right? The reason why I say a coach rather than someone else is because it's way better for you to build your own business. Because the moment you build a business with a friend, he better be a freaking good friend. And you might lose that friend, by the way, if that business, collapses, or you guys have a disagreement about the money or whatever it is. But if you build a business from scratch on your own, and it's very, very difficult to stay committed unless you've got someone who you're accountable with. It's kind of like, it's way easier to go to the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning if you know that your friend is going to be there and he's going to be heavily disappointed if you don't show up. Like, what, bro? Like, I woke up at 6 a.m. for you to join me at the gym, and then you let me down. What the hell? Do you understand what I mean? Like, so it's the exact same way in business. You guys let each other down by not doing the things that you guys promised you were going to do. It's unless you have that other cell or that other atom, right? The atoms need each other in order for there to be movement. If there's only one atom or whatever it's called, then it's not gonna move anywhere. It's just gonna sit still. It's like it's the other atom that makes the movement happen and that creates life. In the same way, it's the same thing that building up your business, you require a partner of some kind to help you create the exponential growth curve. And what I recommend is having a coach that's that partner that creates that friction. Luaista, right? I talk about him all the time. He's building his business. He started 10 months ago. He's built up a massive amount of capital right now. Over the past 10 months, he's got an amazing Instagram account. Right now, he's kind of plateauing. Why? Because we've replaced him completely in his business. He doesn't have to do anything at all. It's all passive, except for like posting and engaging on his Instagram. That's it. And it literally takes like an hour a day. So I'm like trying to figure out ways to get him busy and, to put him to work. But do you understand the point? Like, he started his business, but he was on his own. Now he has 4 part-time employees that he has to lead. So Having employees is fantastic because that's an accountability partner in many ways, right? But in the beginning, he had no one. So if he hadn't hired me, most probably he'd never have built his business. Do you understand how business function? You've got to understand all of the psychology and the behavioral thing and the aspects behind it. Because it's difficult to build a business if you haven't, unless you've noticed, right? You're an employee, great. You go into work, you have work to do, they tell you what to do and you do it. And then you get paid at the end of the month. Easy, piece of cake. But building a business, you actually have to make a plan. You have to set up your schedule. You have to decide what to prioritize, what not to prioritize. It's a little bit more tricky. One other aspect that I want to share with you is how big are you thinking? Because again, commitment to the strategy is more important than the strategy, but you got to know your goal, right? If you want to become a billionaire, you can't just choose any type of business or industry. You've got to choose what the future will have to offer to the world, or choose a niche or an industry that no one has discovered yet, right? Like, that's how billionaires function. They go into like right now, they don't choose the thing that's popular right now if they want to become billionaires. They choose what's going to become popular in 10 to 20 years. That's the difference between billionaires and millionaires. Billionaires, they either are extremely good at saving money and saving cash over time and then become billionaires when they're old, or they're if you want to become a billionaire when you're young, when you're like in your 30s or 40s, then you have to be 10 years in advance or 20 years in advance of the people, of where the population is going. Because once you choose a path, like, you have to make a decision and a prediction of where the future is going. Those are the people who become billionaires. And then you look at that and you're like, okay, what do I need to do right now in order to create that movement so that the population will be fired up and excited about buying my product in 10 to 20 years? I don't care about making money now. Who cares? I just want to become a billionaire no matter how long it takes me. But the fastest way to become a billionaire is to allow yourself to not make any money for a long period of time, right? That's what Amazon did. They lost money continuously. They weren't making money, but he had a vision. He knew what it would look like 20 years from now if he got the investors to join him in that business. And that's the same way you have to think if you want to become a billionaire. So does it matter if you don't make money the first 5 years? No, not if the thing that you believe in is absolutely certain to happen because of your commitment level to making it happen. And once you get a lot of people working in unison with you in order to create that vision and make it happen, momentum has to happen. It is bound to happen. And that's when you're creating reality, even though it wasn't reality to begin with. That's becoming a god. That's becoming masculine. That's understanding the process of it gets massively worse before it gets better if you want to become a billionaire fast, right? Becoming a billionaire fast is not a 2-year thing or a 5-year thing. We're talking 20 years. We're talking 40, 50 years. But you can easily become a billionaire. It's freaking easy to become a billionaire if you make the commitment and the decision to do it. Now, I have to admit, though, that like those that are billionaires today, there's a lot of people who are billionaires today who aren't really billionaires because the value of the dollar is just ridiculous, right? It's so small compared to the gold standard that it was 50 years ago. So they're not really billionaires. But do you understand what I'm saying from a wealth standpoint and becoming one of the 0.1% of the population? That just means that you have to be better than, 999 other people, basically. Anyway, so that's the commitment level when it comes to business. And when it comes to understanding the relationship aspects, let's think about it. It's all about trust. How do you get millions of people to trust you? How do you get billions of people to trust you? How did Bill Gates get billions of people to trust him? Oh my gosh. Anyway, but the point is, in terms of trust, You want the speed of trust. You want people to trust you, because when they trust you, they give you their money because they know that they're going to get value in return. That's the most important aspect. So how does that work in relationships? Because there's two aspects: confidence and commitment. You got to have both in order to become who you want to become in the future, right? This is what players have. They've got confidence, they've got no commitment, and they basically sleep around, and then they neglect and leave the women if those women are not really performing or doing whatever the man wants them to do, right? So they leave them behind. That's confidence, because they have options. They have tons of options, and that gives them confidence. But the commitment, that's the one that's needed in order for us to create exponential joy and happiness. Those guys just get a pump and dump. And if you've noticed, it's not really a nice way to live for a long period of time. All players end up getting married at some point in time, or else, like, who are you? Like, they become worthless over time if they don't get married. So they end up getting married around 35 or 40 years old anyway. But like, what kind of, so imagine you're a father. What kind of father, like, what kind of guy do you want your daughter to date at one point? Do you want a guy who's confident, or do you want a guy who's committed? Like, if you had to choose. Preferably we'd like both, right? But it's better if she chooses commitment. But in the end, that's also going to break her heart. Like, you choose confidence as a woman, it will break your heart fast. So it's going to be a pump and dump, boom. But if you choose only commitment and a guy that's not confident, which is basically monogamy, this happens every single time. Monogamy creates that kind of guys who are committed, but they're not confident unless they sleep around in the marriage, which is horrific in my opinion. So commitment, but it sucks. And then, so basically what I'm telling you guys is they're oxymorons, really. You have confidence, which creates options, and then you have commitment, which is no options, right? I just told you what you like. You have to focus and put all of your eggs in one basket. So I'm saying you got to be committed, which is basically that you have no other option because this is my option. So do you understand that in monogamy, that doesn't work very well because you're focused so much on the commitment towards her that you actually don't have any other options if things don't work out, if things are not working in your marriage. Do you understand why Three Girls in Love, Responsible Polygyny is completely necessary? Because these two are completely opposite to each other. No options, options. And I'm trying to be married. I'm trying to make this relationship work. It doesn't work. You put them together, you've got responsible polygyny. You've got confidence because you've got options, but you're also committed because it's only these three for life. I'm not going to sleep around. I'm not going to look at other women. I'm going to have these three, and I'm going to build massive depth in that relationship. So it's a little bit different than business, but you guys understand the point. So what else did I want to share with you guys? That's pretty much it, actually. So let's go through the comments. Let's see. Preach, bro. I've seen it firsthand. Focus, effort, diversify your financial investments. Just don't forget that a good woman in your life will push you to your dreams. You said a good women, so you're saying singular and then plural. So I don't know. Like, a good woman will push you to your dreams. She'll also hold you back from your dreams. It's not her fault. It's the system's fault. But it's your fault for getting engaged in the system of monogamy. So once you get inside monogamy, it's your fault, right? You committed. You chose her, and she's a good woman, and hopefully she'll inspire me to become rich one day. Yes, but she's also going to massively hold you back from achieving your potential. Massively. Not her fault, right? She can't control that. She needs someone. She's a feminine creature who needs other feminine creatures to spend time with her. And that's you, because you're the one who committed and you screwed her life over, and no other women want to help her out, right? Because they've got their own problems. So guess which feminine creature returns back continuously to help out? You. That's monogamy. especially if you get kids. Now, once explaining the things about kids, I've got 3 kids. I know how it works. Realize that having kids is a fantastic experience. You're going to absolutely love becoming a father. I have a friend in Norway who, like, he got his first kid, it's a daughter. He's been living with this girl for a while, and he absolutely loves this daughter. Like, it's so fantastic. He's like, "Bro, I could not even imagine how it is to be a father, blah blah blah." And I'm like, fortunately, he owns a grocery store. Like, he has a freelance with one of the biggest type of gigs. So his financials are set up, but he's still in monogamy. So I still know what's going on behind those 4 walls. So if she was ever to leave him, which she can, but I don't think it's possible since he knows me. Right? Like, whenever he gets problems with that girl, I could just, like, he just needs to communicate with me and I will help him to get her back. Because once you've had a kid with someone, you want that family to be set up, and that will become your most important project. The most important work you will ever do is within the 4 walls of your own home, right? Becoming a billionaire is not the biggest thing. However, why wouldn't you want to if you're single right now? Because then you can have it all. Then you can become a billionaire, get the women, and get the kids. Like, you get all of it. However, there's some guys who start in the wrong direction. They start with step 4 and 5, get women, get kids, or get a woman and get kids, and then they screw up the rest of them, lead others and lead blah blah blah. Why am I telling you this? You guys can have, like, you guys probably are thinking, yeah, but what about all the rich guys who are actually monogamous and they actually manage to create wealth and all that stuff? You know why? Because it's easy to create a business. Like, it's so freaking easy to build a business. Believe it or not, it's freaking easy to become rich. It's a numbers game, and it's only about doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this. Oh, what? I'm rich. How did that happen? It's automatic. It's actually, like, it's physically impossible in this day and age for you to actually work 8 to 12 hours a day on a business and not become financially successful, like massively rich. So people who are billionaires today and they're monogamous, they did it because they did it in spite of all of the problems and all of the women and all of the stuff. They did it in spite of that. I'm just telling you that to become a billionaire is easy once you follow this process. And it's pretty much 80% predictable that you will achieve it, right? So people say that, oh, to succeed in business, it's like only 5% succeed in 5 years' time. Why do you think that is? It's because of their lack of commitment. It's because of their focusing on women and focusing on having all these other distractions and problems happening in their lives. It's because of their lack of people skills. It's because of this, that, and the other. Those things are foundational pieces that you can set up from the get-go in order for you to succeed massively long term. It's not hard, guys. It's just the hard thing is believing that it's actually possible and believing that the process that I'm telling you is legit. Are you serious? Is it that easy? Yes, it is. Why? Because it's a numbers game. And the faster you go through the numbers, the faster you arrive at your destination. So how fast are you running through those numbers to gain experience of what it takes for you to become a billionaire? How fast are you doing it? If you've got tons of other distractions, you're doing it very slowly. Why? Because you can only dip your foot in trying it out a little bit once in a while. Why aren't you doing, like, that's kind of like applying for a job. Like, there's guys saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna hire you, Joseph, as a coach when I get my job. I just need a job. This COVID-19 thing is really is difficult right now. And I'm like, okay, so let's try to get you a job. Like, why don't you have a job? It's a numbers game. What's the problem? Right? Like, how many jobs are you applying for? There was this kid that called me the other day, and we had a free consultation, and I told him, okay, so what I want you to do is on Monday, I want you to apply for 100 jobs. On Monday. Uh, 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 It's a numbers game, right? Like, how long are you taking to get that job? How long are you taking to go through the process and the numbers? Becoming rich is easy. Getting a job is easy. Everything pretty much is easy once you figured out the process. It's a numbers game. And it's really all about your commitment to the strategy. It's not about the strategy, right? Getting 100 like applications sent out, or going inside 100 stores or restaurants, right? They're a bit closed now, but they're opening up. Get a job. What's the problem, right? It's the exact same thing to become a billionaire. And the only thing that's holding you back are all of your distractions. All right, let's see. Let go of the idea that a woman will build me with me to millionaire status and just do the building part myself. Absolutely, freaking absolutely. Don't believe that women will help you to build to millionaire status. That's a ridiculous thought. I actually have a client who's he actually is getting married this fall. I'm like, like, literally. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? And he's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna have kids within the first 5 years. So basically, I've just like put a zipper, like I have to like control myself as a man, which I have to do, and not talk about it, because if I talk more about it, he'll fire me as a coach, right? But that's the truth. So if he doesn't want the truth, that's up to him. But I'm just simply telling you the truth because I've lived it. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to success and family life, okay? Because I was supposed to get rich by 30, and I literally put in the work to become rich by 30. But I also wanted to have a family. I also wanted to have 10 kids or 12 kids. I also wanted to have an amazing wife, and she would be doing this and that and the other. And it turned out a little bit differently, but but I know now why. So anyway, I'm just helping you guys out. Let's see. My first mistake was chasing this one woman whilst being broke. Yeah, that was a mistake. You need someone to build your business. Maybe you were answering someone else. Let's see. Hara, I'm not understanding your question. These are challenging times now. We're facing economical crisis. There's no better time to move forward. This is the best time in history to become wealthy. Literally, the best time in history. If you set yourself up right now, it is the best time to become rich in history, because there's a wealth transfer that's going to happen, a massive wealth transfer. Wealth doesn't disappear, right? The only way wealth disappears is if there's war and destruction and nuclear bombs that basically puts us back 300 years, right? But somewhere around the world, there's still massive amounts of wealth, right? There's no nuclear bomb that destroys the whole planet at the same time, hopefully. So basically, which means that humanity is going to progress, and the wealth that has been established will be in place. However, it's going to shift to those that understand what's happening and what's going on, and is going to be taken away from those that got fake wealth, if that makes sense. Let's see. Any books on 3 Girls in Love? I'm an open book, man. Check out Girls of High Value channel. Understand all of those videos, but hire me as a coach. It's a lot faster. No masculinity in that household. 3 idiots in love. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. It's kind of offensive, actually. But I'm not going to take offense because I'm a man. I don't care. Oh, Joseph. Ahana, so nice to listen to you. Let's see. I need a drink. I just need a job. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully he doesn't see this. I need a haircut. 12 kids? Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully, who doesn't see what? Obviously, it's me, right? Anyway, so yeah, I've seen the opposite of 3 Girls in Love. I kid you not, 3 Men in Love. Oh yeah, 3 Idiots. Okay, now I get it. Anyway, so I hope you guys got some value out of this session. You know, the last few moments on my live streams are a bit interesting because I'm reading the comments, but I hope you guys get fired up outside your brains, but more importantly, getting committed to a path. or to a goal that's going to create consistency and exponential growth on your journey through life. I would say the biggest thing I recommend, again and again, hire me as a coach so that you can fix your foundation. Very often, the guys I coach, they believe that it's only, oh, I just need to do this and I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. I know why you're not doing it. Like, I take you back because very often you're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Or I want to wait with coaching until I'm ready to go. But you forget that the reason why you're not able to go is all this baggage that you have from the past that basically I go in and just like and look at it, and then we handle those things and chip at them one at a time. Once you don't have emotional baggage anymore, that's the only reason why you haven't succeeded. And ignorance is part of the emotional baggage, or even worse, believing that you know what you need to do, or believing that you know it all, right? That's even worse. Remember, step number one of leadership is allowing yourself to be led, which means that you know nothing in the same way that I know nothing. Yet, I understand these things, right? And I can help you to lead you to get past that emotional baggage, which is really the only thing that's holding you back. Trust me, there's just a few key things that are holding you back. What are they specifically? And without coaching, it might be difficult to figure that one out. And I can trust you, your psychologist will not help you. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling, and I will frickin' see you in the next one.